Hello and welcome to Radical Living. I'm your host Shoeless Joe, and today we are talking about how to make a living. Sawyer Blair left me this great comment. She asked, "Hey Joe, I have a topic of concern. Me and so many others I know feel really helpless and out of control when it comes to how we make a living. We all want the same things. We just want jobs or a way to live that is beneficial to the environment. All the corporate jobs out there that are so easy to get, all are so toxic to everything, and it pains us every day to be a part of that. We are all living paycheck to paycheck and cannot afford college or expensive certificates or buying startup materials. How do we escape this capitalistic hell? We just want to help the world and remain safe and healthy. Some more specific, non-vague advice would be nice if you have it." Well, Sawyer, I think you make some great points, and that is such a good question. Now, the awesome minimalists Connor and Brittany already made a response to this, and maybe you can get a lot out of it, but I felt like it was kind of really good and inspiring, but also still a little vague. I know for myself personally, I've looked many times into figuring out how to just work online so I can travel. What's a job I can get that I can just do it all online so I can travel? But every time I go to try and find that, the people who do it, like the people who live out of their vehicles like I want to, they're like, well, I do web design and I do internet-y stuff, which makes sense if you're trying to work online, but I don't do web design. I don't do video editing and all that. I mean, I do video editing, obviously, but you know what I mean. So what do we do? What do we do when we don't want to work at McDonald's for our whole life? Just making just enough to get by paycheck to paycheck and killing people and giving them cancer and obesity and all that along the way. And I wish I had the answer. I wish I had just a really good, here's the solution, but I don't. Today, if you're unskilled and don't have a lot of money, there's not really many options for you other than working in retail or something like that, and you're just kind of a cog in the big corporate beast. I remember talking with one of my uncles about how I was going to feed my family. This was, I think, when I was first getting married, and we were talking about it, and he just asked me if I, because I was having a hard time finding a job with my college degree, and he was asking me, well, would you be willing to work any job, like anything, like fast food or whatever? And I was saying, no, I can't do fast food. That's just, I'm not going to go there. But then as he pressed me, okay, I guess I realized that if it really came down to it and to put food on the table, I had to work at McDonald's, I would work at McDonald's. And I actually did end up working for a while at Subway, and while Subway is still technically fast food, it just felt a lot better to me than McDonald's or something like that. Then after Subway, I worked at a daycare for a summer, which in a lot of ways to me, it was education system-y, which I didn't like, but it still wasn't, physically harmful. Then I was a really bad youth minister, which is a great job, except I wasn't good at it, and now I work for a company and I'm an instructor, and I teach people how to use Microsoft Office. Now, two of these jobs were hourly. The daycare job was hourly and the Subway job was hourly, and those were sort of your paycheck to paycheck jobs. And I agree, it's hard to get by with those, and you just feel like you just have to work. You just feel enslaved, like you just are working for these people and this machine and this company, and you're not really free. I got this watch when I got my new job, and I got it because I needed a watch for my job, but also I got it to symbolize my sort of being chained and shackled to my work, working for someone else and not having that freedom. And I do want to eventually work towards that freedom and not have to work for anyone. But to be honest, it's really hard if you don't have money or connections or a college degree. Like the job I have right now, going to college, well, I did get a drama degree, so it did prepare me for being in front of people and having presentation skills. I think they mostly went on my interview and on my audition, sort of, when I did a testing teach for them. That's what they went on. They didn't really go based on my education. However, when I turned in my application, it's the education that got me in for the interview. You see, when they were putting their job posting out there, they said they were looking for people who had this and this experience, or they were open to just taking college graduates. But why weren't they open to people who weren't college graduates? Well, that's still a bias that's within this country. Much as I am a big advocate of people choosing to not go to college, there are a lot of careers out there that will take anyone, even if they have a degree that's in a different field, as long as you have a degree. It just shows stability or responsibility or work ethic or something like that, I guess. So if you're someone who doesn't want to live paycheck to paycheck and you want to do something positive in the world, you want to live healthy, you want to bring health into the world, bring out those positive things and not work for a soul-crushing corporation, there's a couple things I would suggest. Now again, I haven't done this before, so these are just my thoughts on some things that you might consider. Firstly, you mentioned not having money for startup materials. If you have an idea for a great job or a company or something that you think that you could start some kind of organization, I highly suggest using some kind of crowdfunding like Kickstarter or GoFundMe and really get the word out there. Try to get something, get that funds. You got to try to get that money, get other people excited about it, pitch your idea. And again, I know that sounds vague, like pitch your idea to who? But if you are really this dedicated, and I know this might sound like really harsh, but if you're truly dedicated to a cause, you have this great idea, you need to fight for it. I don't know who you would contact. I don't know who you would pitch that idea to, but that's something you have to find out. You have to make those calls, send those emails, spend hours researching online. You have to figure out how to make that dream come true. So if you have like an awesome idea that you think if you could just get that money to start it, you could really make something, then I suggest crowdfund it, pitch your idea to people, find ways to get that money. And maybe that means working at a soul-crushing job until you can afford it, and then that will make that job just a little bit easier and not so hard to swallow. Now, the other thing you mentioned is not having money for college. Now, there are a lot of scholarships and grants out there. You just have to dig for them. You have to work for them. You have to put in the time, find ways, get people to help you write essays, people that's their strong point. And you can work for that. And the other thing is, if you live in the US, I strongly suggest community college. Community colleges are so much cheaper than any of the big public or private universities. So I would say just you could work your butt off and then just try to get into community college. So work in order to save money. You have to be willing to sacrifice everything else you're doing. Stop going out with friends, stop eating out, all that kind of stuff, cancel your cable subscription. Put that money towards community college, and then once you get into community college, you can start pursuing a degree in, even something generic like business or whatever. Then you can start getting those upper level jobs, and those jobs that maybe aren't so like paycheck to paycheck or soul crushing like working fast food. And those are my main thoughts, really, those two things. You're trying to get into community college or trying to do a startup with crowdfunding if you have a really awesome idea. I don't know anything about making money on YouTube because I don't monetize my videos or sell merchandise or anything like that, but if you have some kind of skill, like you're really good at an instrument or performing or making videos on YouTube, blogging, something like that, that is an avenue you can pursue to make money, but that's not going to you won't be able to make a living on that anytime soon. That takes more time to build up. So maybe, and that's another thought, maybe do something supplemental like that on the side. Like if you can, I don't know, what do people do? Okay, so I'm sitting here in my van editing this video, and I realized that somehow I managed to forget multi-level marketing, which absolutely makes no sense since my wife is into multi-level marketing. My wife sells essential oils through a company called Young Living. Multi-level marketing is a great way to start off with a supplemental kind of income and then build up to make it your full-time income. And there's a lot of really health-conscious, eco-friendly, green companies like Young Living, which my wife is with, or Shackley, or there's different ones out there. I'll probably make a video about that in the future, but definitely look into multi-level marketing. If you play an instrument, try to get gigs or like play at a restaurant, see if they'll pay you, or I don't know. But what I do know is that if you cut out all distractions and focus on one thing, say, despite everything else, I am going to get into community college. Or despite everything else, I'm going to make this startup happen. I am going to make it a reality, even if it kills me. That's what you need. That's the fire you need to keep you going. You have to. We're so inundated with distraction. We spend so much time on social media and consuming entertainment, and we feel trapped. But really, if you cut out everything to say, I don't care, I'm going to figure out how to do this. I am going to get into community college one way or another, and what happens after that, I will take from there. Or maybe you have a dream job. Maybe you know exactly where you think community college can get you. You just need that degree. Then you gotta focus on that. Call people up. Say, hey, you have the job that I want. This is my situation. I've got no money. I've got no college. What do I do? How do I get your job? How do I get into your field? And you gotta find someone who can help you. But first you have to have that vision. I think it's so easy for us to get stuck in, this is what I don't want. I don't want to work at fast food. I don't want to have this soul-crushing job. I don't want to be a cog in the machine. And that's great, and those are great things to not want. But we have to also focus on what do we want. It's hard to get out of the jungle when you don't know where out of the jungle is. You don't know what that end goal is. You gotta figure out where you're going. Find something. Look around. What is that career that you want? What's that job that you think, you know what, I could have fun doing this, and it's not so crushing, and it's not bad, it's healthy, it's environmental, or whatever it is. You gotta find that job first, and then you can work towards it. And then you just have to zero in on that one thing and let everything else fall aside. Thank you, Sawyer, for your question. I hope I was able to be at least a little bit helpful. I don't know if I was, but there you have it. And everyone watching, feel free to comment in the below and give Sawyer some advice that I don't have. Tell Sawyer, what can you do to avoid these jobs? Maybe you could make a living not making money at all. You just live off the land. There are people out there who do that. You just have to hunt them down and find them. So leave your comments below. Any other questions you have about jobs, help each other out down there. And thank you so much to my patrons. You guys mean the world to me. If you are watching this and you are considering helping me out with some money, patronizing this channel, go ahead and click that link, or I don't know, find a link somewhere. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember, keep it simple, question everything, and stay radical. When am I gonna make a living? Ooh, it's gonna take a while before I give in. Some more specific, non-vague advice would be that. When you get in, you can try to get in to... You can really start applying for those more up. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember, keep it simple, question everything. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, keep it... Thank you all so much for watching. Remember... Thank you all...